Welcome to Campfire Football. I'm Sebastian North. The Gold Cup, La Copa de Oro, and the Olympics. I want to talk about the Gold Cup for a little bit here first. A little historical context. The Gold Cup actually was branded as the Gold Cup in 91. Prior to that, it had been the CONCACAF Championships, but it's been biannually hosted in the United States. So every iteration has been here, which is kind of an interesting thing. I think it gives a pretty big advantage to the United States. One of the funny format components is that there's always a guest team from another region. It's been, like I said, Brazil once upon a time. It's been Colombia. It's been lots of teams. This year, it's Qatar. It's got a bit of a Farmers League competition feel to it, doesn't it? When only 3 teams ever have won it and only 2 routinely do and consistently meet each other in the final. There's some decent competition here, but you sort of wonder, where's the cap? I also heard a lot of rumblings about why don't we merge Copa America and Gold Cup and just basically get rid of Gold Cup and just call it Copa America. And you set up some kind of qualifying thing where you don't have to do what you did with the format this time around in Copa America. I mean, it was a little bit ridiculous to play something like 20 group games to eliminate 2 teams, and that was Bolivia and Venezuela. I'm sick and tired of the Gold Cup being looked at as such a second-rate competition that the United States and Mexico don't get to test their brass against the big boys, that a tournament like the Gold Cup, they bring a C team. Why don't we come up with a solution for the island teams? I think the Caribbean Island Cup, just throwing a simple name out there. Anyone who wants to get more creative, please run with this idea. But this could be a fun little lucrative thing, right? You have just a competition that's held along the Caribbean islands at all the stadiums that they have that, are appropriate. It's sort of hosted along, and you can just take boats and little island hoppers and get from place to place and see the games, all in super picturesque locations, ideal tourism spots. You can go watch international football that is, sanctioned by FIFA, so sort of set up by FIFA. I don't know if that's a good thing. Somewhere where the competition is important the whole way through. This is what's really difficult about the Olympics on the women's side for me. This is what was annoying for a lot of people about the Euros. This whole idea that third place teams can qualify. This is just not competitive enough. It doesn't raise the stakes high enough in the group stage, and therefore makes it less interesting for people to watch. And that's not what anyone wants. I just want to go ahead and throw some Gold Cup predictions out there. So I actually give Qatar the edge against El Salvador. Mexico, Honduras. This is where I'm calling an upset. I actually think Honduras have the opportunity here to hit up Mexico. I actually think Canada will move on to the semifinal over Costa Rica, and I do think the U.S. will beat Jamaica. I'm going to address Canada against Honduras first. I think Canada will make it to the final. As for Qatar against the USA, I actually think that home crowd alone is what will be able to carry them through and take them to the final. If Daryl Dike's on, I think there's a real chance. And so I'm calling USA-Canada final, but I'm calling Canada to get revenge and win it this time. So I wanted to get into the Olympics here. It'll be interesting to see all these teams play each other. Germany, Brazil on the first day, Mexico, France. So I think it'll be fun. It'll be fun. But I'm going to focus more just on individuals and moments. On the women's side, the narratives are much, much deeper. They're bigger deal because these are the senior sides. The big disappointment about these Olympics is that there are no fans, which sucks. I mean, it makes the games so stale. Great Britain, Team GB, well, basically Team England, because there's 2 Scots and 1 Welsh woman on the team. Other than that, it's all English players. They started with a 2-0 win over Chile. Probably the most insane game of the day, for sure. Netherlands beats Zambia 10-3. 2 hat tricks. 4 goals from Vivian Miedema, so she's the first one to get a hat trick, and then 3 from Barbara Banda from Zambia, the captain, one of their veterans. She got the hat trick, scored all 3 goals herself. So terrific little story there. I think that's awesome. But 10-3, and you're wondering, well, how on earth? What on earth kind of scoreline is this? Look, the tactics that Zambia had were all over the place. I couldn't believe what I was watching. The highest line I have ever seen. This makes Bayern Munich's line look deep. I mean, it was unbelievable. The coach, his name is Bruce Mwape. I'm not sure what he was hoping would happen. He's got a lot of belief in his players. That's abundantly clear. To press that high against a Dutch team with Vivian Miedema, who is one of the top goal scorers in world football. Then there were more goals. Brazil beats China 5-0, and watch the highlights. It's actually kind of mind-blowing. China don't find a way to score in this game. I think they hit the woodwork 3 times. Brazil were kind of clinical, which sounds harsh considering they won 5-0, but this could have been another 10-3. Hosts Japan fought back to get a 1-1 draw with Canada. Got to give a shout out to Christine Sinclair. She is Canada's top goal scorer, but also with 187 goals for her country in her career, is the top goal scorer anywhere, male or female. CR7 has 109, just for context. Then there was the Battle of Oceania, Australia against New Zealand. I'm not sure why these two teams are in the same group. Strange IOC stuff, I guess. I don't really know. 2-1 winners were the Matildas. Sam Kerr on the score sheet. Big surprise. This is the story of the day. The United States, watching them over the last year, I don't really think they've been ever scintillating. They've never been that U.S. team that we were seeing under Jill Ellis in the lead up to the World Cup, where they would just swat teams away. 4 or 5 goals the first half, take the gas off a little bit, beating everyone they came up against and scoring lots of goals. Hasn't looked like that under Vlatko, and so Sweden thrashed them. Sweden were fantastic, could have easily won by more. Yes, the United States had opportunities, could have scored themselves, there's no doubt. And I got to give head coach Peter Gerhardsson a lot of credit, because he got his tactics spot on. Vlatko, on the other hand, did not. Well, Sweden didn't do what I think a lot of people thought that they would do. Sweden really paid attention to this and were like, you know what, we cannot fear this team. When you give them control of the game, they tend to carve out enough opportunities to score because they have excellent players. But if you take control of the ball away from them and you start creating chances against them, and then you press them higher up the pitch and start forcing turnovers, their confidence now is tested. Sweden were direct, they moved the ball and ran off it. That was a huge thing. They made big interchanges. Players were running from midfield beyond the back line of the United States. There were always 2 or 3 connected. The team was supported and balanced. I mean, it was exactly what you want from a defensive performance. And then when they got the ball, they did all the right things. You know, Megan Rapinoe came out with some quotes after the game that were completely spot on. She said, we feel like we just took an ass kicking for sure. We weren't good. If we had actually been able to pass the ball to each other for one, if we had connected passes, that might have helped us a lot. To me, watching this game, I was like, the tactics are not good. Either the tactics aren't good or the players are executing them horribly, which I think is maybe hand in hand what's going on here. Like Alex Morgan said, she said, I felt like there were holes everywhere defensively. I didn't feel like we were pressing together, and then when we were on the attack and we'd lose the ball, we didn't have the numbers around it to win it back. I 100% agree. And remember that 2 of the 3 third-place teams in this tournament advanced. There's only 3 groups. There are 12 teams. Out of those, only 4 will get knocked out. I just think that makes this format a little bit ridiculous, especially with empty stadiums. I mean, it's like, come on, like, get on with it. It's going to be a tough competition for this United States team. They already know it. I think a lot of them, the age is catching up. I think that desire to really go gung-ho at teams, that might be what's needed, and that might be what's missing. Football never burns out. This is Campfire Football. Thanks for stopping by.